Let me tell you about two people.
The first person is a college student that goes to bed every night at 9:30 and wakes up at 5 in the morning for a mind-clearing workout before school. He meditates and prays for 2 hours a day to make peace with himself and with God, and follows a thorough cleaning routine via his mother's instructions, down to every excruciating detail. He does life swaps with poor African children for months at a time to keep himself grounded, and was voluntarily beaten in last year's Women's March to show solidarity for the movement.
If you thought that was it, think again.
He fully acknowledges his white privilege by posting a black square on Instagram every month, as well as tutoring underprivileged children. If he finds out a family's income is above a certain threshold, he refuses to continue teaching them.
Best of all, he only uses the term Latinx and never Hispanic.
He is the hope of the future. The second person is also a college student, but is much different from the first. He's a chronic masturbator who stalks women on Instagram to find their house on Zillow and pretend to sleep in their room beside them. To get a rush of adrenaline, he smells people's seats when they stand up and collects their loose hairs to add to his collection.
His fentanyl tolerance has surpassed that of all West Virginia residents.
He refuses to bathe after having severe diarrhea, joined his regional baby-slapping consortium, and only uses the term Hispanic and never Latinx. Worst of all, he asks random women on the street what their body count is for TikTok.
Each of these people break the norm of what it means to be a young adult in society.
The first has supported more people and created a greater positive impact than most people do in their entire lives. The stellar example that he sets is an inspiration to all that he comes in contact with, and his presence is celebrated no matter the occasion. The second has viciously torn apart himself and his community throughout his life with no regard for his actions. He's a selfish asshole that uses others and disposes of them, propping himself up while stepping on the shoulders of those with pure intentions.
You've met plenty of these people or their equivalents during your life. But what if, after all, they're the same person?
The first prays for an increase in homelessness, and was only beaten in the Women's March to satisfy his humiliation kink. The black squares are screenshots of Kanye's album cover, and he teaches all false material to create a greater divide between the rich and poor students. The second smells people's seats to check for colon cancer, and does fentanyl to drain the supply from the rest of his community. He doesn't bathe to save the fresh water for drinking,
And stopped saying Latinx because it's offensive to the traditional Spanish language. Two people living the same life, only inside out.
You may think you know who he is, what his motives are, or the true intent behind every one of his actions, but no one will ever truly know the man underneath the skin.